This is the Aladdin EasyFit Isolator. These can be installed onto a live water pipe. So this pipe is 15mm copper pipe. You can also install these on plastic pipe as long as you follow the instructions. These are incredibly useful if you ever get a pipe that you cannot isolate. Obviously, once the pipe is at mains pressure, there is no way of isolating it. You can actually isolate it by fitting one of these. And there's no need to isolate the water. You can actually fit this to the pipe when it has water in at mains pressure. So these are incredibly useful for flats, large factories, etc., where it isn't possible to isolate the water. There are currently two different types of kit available. There's the one with the tool kit, which includes those 3 tools, which is a little bit more expensive. Or you can just get the kit without the tool kit. So that will give you all the components you need for the EasyFit Isolator. In the kit you will get a set of instructions, and it is important that you follow the instructions. I'm now going to fit this onto a piece of 15mm copper pipe, and I'll just show you how easy it is to install one of these. As well as these tools, you are also going to need a powerful drill. There is a minimum of 14.4 volts. This is the pipe where we're going to install the EasyFit Isolator. You do need to check the pipe and ensure that it is clean. You can actually use the EasyFit Isolator if it has been painted or if it has solder drips on it. To start off with, we need to remove the 4 cuphead bolts. So I'm just going to flick the drill into reverse. And we'll just remove all 4 of those. I'm now going to adjust the torque on the drill, and I'm going to set it to about the mid position. So that is the 2 components. It's a good idea to check that the sealing rings are in position. I'm now going to decide exactly where I want it, and it doesn't really matter on this pipe, but once you've decided on the correct place, you cannot slide it up and down, as that could dislodge the seals. So I'm just going to pull the pipe away from the wall slightly, and I'm just going to slip the back of the EasyFit Isolator behind it. Like so. So I'm now going to put the front on, and I'm going to start inserting the cuphead bolts. So I'm just going to wind them all in so that they are nearly touching the isolator. So I'm going to do that with all 4. So I'll now ensure these are tight. So I'll start off with that one, and then I'll do the diagonal one, and then I'll do the other 2. We now need to swap over to the long socket. So I'm going to remove the hex bit, just open up the chuck. And then for this, I'm going to ensure that the drill is in the slow speed, which it is, and I'm also going to select maximum torque, so I'm going to put that onto the drill symbol, like so. You also need to check that the plastic split collar is on the spindle when you perform this operation. We now need to ensure that the drill is in forwards gear, or is turning to the right, as you would do to tighten something. We can then put this on the hexagonal part there, and we need to drive this in until the red line touches the top of the collar. We now need to remove the collar. We can unscrew that and discard it. I have to point out that this is a very powerful drill, and if you are struggling driving that in with the drill, you will have to use a ratchet instead, or a wrench. On the housing we have a red dot, and also on the cutter plug we have a red dot. They need to be aligned. You do need to turn it in a clockwise direction to get those aligned, but if you can't turn it in a clockwise direction, which I can't with this one, we will have to back that off in an anti-clockwise direction until the two red marks align. So we now have both of the red dots perfectly aligned at the top there. Can now remove the split poly tube. That comes off very easily. Now all we have to do is fit the plastic cap. That simply goes over the spindle. We just need to push that down, and then we just need to screw in the screws. For this part I'm actually using a screwdriver because these screws are very small and I don't want to risk stripping them using an electric drill. We've got two of those in, we can now do the remaining two. Once we've done that, we can then fit the handle to the isolator. Can of course fit it either way around, whichever preference you prefer. So we're just going to fit it that way for now. Once we fit the handle, we'll then put the half nut on. Once you've installed it and you need to isolate the water supply, it's very easy. Simply close the lever like so, and that will isolate the water supply. So these are very useful as you can use them on live systems that you can't isolate. If you're working in a block of flats or a large factory, it isn't always possible to isolate the water supply if an isolation valve has not already been installed. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have and you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel.